humanity. The people on the floor said that's what they wanted to hear. They wanted to hear the human side of Donald Trump. They saw his grandchildren, his whole family that had been through the trauma. They heard grieving families who'd lost loved ones in Afghanistan. But then he gradually got out of that, and that sort of affection that he wanted to show for his family and for others, and went into, which was essentially his stump speech at rallies, as Rachel described.
And Giancarlo, for those around the country who are concerned with what they have seen from President Biden, the debate performance, perhaps saying, well, maybe we'll give Donald Trump another look tonight. Did he give them a different Donald Trump?
Democrats who were despairing that this moment Donald Trump had a chance to, to kind of turn the page, take advantage of Biden's obvious weakness, disarray among Democrats. Now they're thinking, you know what, actually things don't look so bad. We can beat this guy. I mean, Donald Trump told me that he had ripped up his old convention speech after Saturday in Pennsylvania and wrote one that focused on unity. Well, there were lines of unity in the speech. There were the moving description of what happened in Pennsylvania. There was his line, which was, the sentiment was fantastic. Running to be president of all America, not just half of America. And then he went on and gave a speech that was directed at half of America. I mean, this was filled with divisive rhetoric. He went back to the lies about the election. He disparaged, crazy Nancy Pelosi. He said terrible things about Joe Biden. This was not a unity speech, and it wasn't a focused speech. It was just long. It was unfocused. It was rambling. It's not going to win people over.
Let me laser in with a follow-up there.
Yeah.
So even given the real struggles facing the Biden campaign right now, this sort of existential question of whether or not President Biden actually stays in this race, stays at the top of the ticket, you think within the Biden campaign, within Democratic circles, there might be some relief tonight, given this is the playbook that they're now up against. It's the playbook they know.
There's definitely relief in Democratic circles. They still have to figure out what to do about Joe Biden. There's still that movement to replace Joe Biden, but they believe, looking at this is the candidate that they can beat.
So let's give a final thought to Mary Bruce, our chief White House correspondent. Is there any kind of reaction yet, Mary, from the Biden campaign?
David, the word from the Biden campaign tonight is that this was just more of the same. I mean, they say that Donald Trump talked a lot about himself here, but didn't really outline any plans for the future. He wasn't offering much for the future of the country to the American people and voters. And they say critically that they didn't hear Trump make any real appeal to those critical, moderate voters. Now, no surprise here, the Biden campaign all night has been calling out the many false statements in this speech, especially on immigration and crime. But as one Biden advisor put it to me, he said, this is the greatest hits of 2016. Donald Trump has not changed. He has only gotten worse. And while there may be some sighs of relief from some Democrats after hearing this speech, it does, of course, come as the Biden campaign is really in a crisis here. We are seeing top Democratic leaders up the pressure on the president to drop out of this race. Now, there's no indication tonight that the president has changed his mind. The White House adamant he is still staying in this race, David.
An extraordinary moment in this campaign. Mary Bruce, our thanks to you. Our thanks to John, Lindsay, and Martha here in the booth, to Rachel and Terry on the floor. Former President Donald Trump on stage with former First Lady Melania Trump after a 92-minute speech on this fourth and final night of the convention. Fact-checking here on immigration,